Mithaba. Sithembe wonke umuntu usaphila. Ideally, that should be the case. If abantu abadlulanga nama-festivities. Angazi ama-festivities anona now, but it's fine. So, I'm seeing you guys are always here. Let's look at some of your queries, some of your comments here. Most of it is interesting, but I'll go through as much as I can see here. Let's see if we can capture this the screen quickly. I think this is in relation with the last live we did on Umjolo the dating. On the second last. And I was trying to spit some game for the young man out there. So interesting points, especially the one Provish backgrounds. My two questions are: ngabe ikhona lento kuthiwa amathongo kube iwona kukhethela abantu umuntu or kufanele why can I umuzi? And in such cases, what makes amathongo approve or disapprove of a relationship? Yeah. It does happen. It does happen. That one. It does happen that you can have your elders look at a possible candidate for a relationship. It's possible that that can happen, but as with everything, must always remember nothing is set in stone. I want to say ayikho into ebhalwe etsheni, and lento ebhalwe etsheni itshe lisengaphoswa phansi liphume. So just don't take it for granted now ukuthi the badaloms or your elders have made it an interest for them to pursue and identify a partner for you. It can happen that they do that. Now, in the same token, it doesn't necessarily mean that that person is now beholden to you and you can do whatever you want because the Bataloms have given you to them, or because it's strange, and it can be very strange. People, you say just because something has been given to you and there's a higher sort of power seemingly that comes in and supports that, then you assume ukuthi ingane yabantu manje sekumele igqilazeke because well, she's the chosen one or he's the chosen one, or you assume that they're not going to depart because vele ngamkhethelwa abadala. That's not how it works. But ultimately, my concern with regards to that one, maybe besides that whole shenanigans of how your own behaviors come in and ruin the whole thing, my concern with regards to that one is that, it can be very difficult to see what those people are able to perceive about the person. Kuba likhona ukubona ukuthi lo muntu lo why are they even to begin with here, yabo, and why are they chosen, or if they're any good for you. It becomes that kind of affair where trying to figure out ukuthi kahle kahle uright in lowo muntu. That whole process can be very taxing and utterly confusing. You know, Eh, it will take you a long time to see what, oh, okay, this is why they chose this person. You know, it's half the time it's good for you, but the other half is chances are you are meant to learn something. You know, or sometimes it's just to preoccupy you in the meantime while you're working towards finding the person. But so it's a 50-50 thing. I wouldn't say to you, uh, basically, don't make it a determining factor. Don't make it a thing. Or with the battalions are gonna be the ones to choose for you. Even if they did, don't take it for granted. You still have a lot of things to do. You still have a lot of work to do as an individual so that you can match up to this person. And they also still have a lot of work to do so they can match up to you, because you are the ones who are having a human experience. You have not left your bodies yet. So there's a lot of things that come into play. Yeah. So as to why they make a decision or how they come to make a decision, because that's basically what the second question is about, with how they make their business. eh, I wouldn't say for sure, but I know in some instances ukuthi kuba khona nje imindeni that they have previous um, beef with, so they will make you avoid those people by all means. I know in particular with myself, there's a particular surname that I can never seem to date. I just never understood why until I was old. Oh, okay. Nansi into ayibangwa nalaba bantu laba. So kuningi owabangwa naloya mndeni, and it has transcended to this point. It's a akudlelwane. So ikhona-ke leyo nto leyo. Sometimes they're not going to be pro that particular individual because waka spanban. And you just need to accept that and keep it moving. Because some of your families come from a very dark place, eh? Eminye imindeni yenu kwakuyikhohlakala abantu kudala. But it's okay. So that's that as far as the battalions are concerned. Let's move on to the next one. I think Umthetho is talking about us being patient. Yeah, but let's be patient. She'll probably prophesy about those whites also. I've seen where she talked about Donald Trump, about President. Hopefully, she'll go in depth about the whites. I like your optimism, but I still stand by what I say. Lama prophets, they are very, very caught up in a very strange realm of God, who seemingly just doesn't have any issues with all the things that white people are doing. I mean, even now with the Israelites, those people who in Israel are busy committing heinous crimes against the people of Palestine. You don't see anything coming from the prophets. Ukuthi uzoshaya nini amaJuda lawa agangile asas. And then there's PM Mhlongo uthi uthuleleni uNkulunkulu umuntu omnyama sonke lesikhathi. Uthuleleni uNkulunkulu umuntu omnyama. That's the question. It's an interesting question. But I guess it's a question that requires a question to really address. Because it's a very simple question. Nifunani nina kubantu bonkulunkulu befike? Why are you there in the first place? Who taught you to worship the Olympians. It cannot be ukuthi kube uNkulunkulu umuntu omnyama who went and taught abantu amnyama to stray and go and be in love with ama-Olympians. So it's not a matter of him being quiet or anything like that. I don't think there's ever such a thing. But he created you in a way that you are able to sustain yourself and thrive in this realm. The mere fact that you still live every day is a testament to that. So the rest of it is that you are not using your talents. That's another thing, that black folks are not using their talents for the correct reasons. They are imagining that there must be someone who must leave wherever they are and come to this planet to do it for them. And this is why we are in this situation, predicament, because we are imagining whoever the God of black people is must leave their post wherever they are and come and remind us of who he is. Yeah. Then maybe by some magic we will change our ways, which I highly doubt. I've seen black people all the time, and I know for a fact that even nalo Prajay abamlindele ukuthi abuye, if engabuya manje Prajay and he was a black man and he sits among them, they will never recognize him. They won't. This is just how black people are. They are in some kind of trance spell or what have you. But if uPrajay engehla manje, njengoba bethi bamlindele kangaka, if engehla nje, they are not going to recognize him. They will never. Not black people. Maybe a couple, a handful, but the way black people are, they won't. Basahluleka ukubona ukuhlukanisa phakathi kwamakhosi namakhosi mbumbulu. So yeah, that one for Angil, but I don't think the issue is about why is the God of black people quiet? Nah, you don't recognize him. You don't recognize there is such a thing in the first place. Chris is a prophet, as isingisi azikho akwazi ukubona iqiniso, alikho iqiniso lesingisi. Dadewethu i-celebrity likhuluma izinto ezaziwayo bese belozishaya endukeni. That's harsh. Athi Matiwane, that's very harsh, but yeah, Nkosi yami ngani. Maybe but anyway, I did say with Mina, it's not really about her. It's not really about her as a person, but I'm just worried ukuthi there's a very consistent pattern with black people who seemingly are of the prophetic um, inclination. Even going down to izangoma nezinyanga nayo yonke into, none of these people ever seemingly are concerned with anything besides punishing black people being bad, black people bathakathi. They're so obsessed. Meanwhile, abathakathi abakhulu emhlabeni, they're going untouched. Even abathakathi nabo themselves, bahlala ukuthakatha abantu abanyama. They don't go around bethakathe amangisi namabhunu nana yonke le nyakanyaka egcwele la. So it makes me wonder, seemingly, how untouchable these people are, that it even transcends into the spiritual domain where we seemingly just can never, ever touch them. If there is supposedly an almighty God and his only concern is to punish and judge black people, meanwhile the people are doing 15, 16, 17,000 times worse things out there. It's very interesting. Um, Someone is talking about Power Man Magnificent, intelligent person, everything you speak is really happening or it has happened so far. You are a storyteller. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about me. There's very few things that are of my own cognition. That otherwise, I'm just telling you the things that I'm supposed to tell you because someone is interested in the state of black folks. Someone wants to get us out of this rut, even more than I am. So they have things to say. And unfortunately, half the time, because of his authority, as is into will happen. I'm not sure what Ayanda is complaining about there at 1444, but that's fine. And then we move on. Yeah, no, guys, it's not about me. It'd be very sad today if it was. Very important to consider. It's not about Nkosas and Kizwani. I've said this many times. This here needs to be a snake of many heads, so that such that when it comes a time that this head falls, another comes up. It's not about me. There's no uh, legacy of mine. I have a plan of building my legacy, but this is not it. Um, Black people must wake up. It's not just about one person. It's a thing that we all need to be really, really concerned about, not just myself. Mm. Okay, umbamba samahongo mention as high rank kuma-powers afika ngaphambili ndawo ngitshitshe kanti futhi leli gama likhona kwi-Epic Gilgamesh kanti futhi ubulawa uye no-Enkidu bathi ubani uGilgamesh ngiyaqolisa mase ngenza comments endaweni wrong kepha for curiosity ngifunda lukhulu channel. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll talk about Gilgamesh sometime. I'll talk about Gilgamesh. But that story, see, building in the pizza. Yeah, the Anunnaki and Abu Gilgamesh, that's a very interesting story. We will look at that sometime. I think in 2024 it's going to be a very busy year, but we'll try and squeeze it in. Uh, we're trying to awake black people from their demons is the most difficult task. They are still caught up in that demons. They will get defensive, emotional whenever someone is trying to bring influence. Yokwambuleka. Umdala kwandisela nasemkhizwaneni abanye bethu sifunda kakhulu kule channel. I'm very grateful for that. Ayise ngibonga kakhulu. No, we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. It's just that it's very unfortunate that I don't have that one of eloquence. Isn't that interesting? A man can be as intelligent as possible, but angabi nayo le nto le ye-eloquence. Uthi, we speak so well. I don't have the thing, unfortunately. But yeah, I think eventually people will get it ngesikhathi sabo. So it's not up to me. It's not up to me. They'll get it when they get it. Or maybe never get it, but it's fine. But it always comes back to the thing with him. It's not going to be everybody's project. We should never depend on everyone getting it. Lest we just have the 12 people multiplied by 1200, then we should be fine. We should be covered. That should be more than enough to start a nice round table and change the course of a. Because ultimately, they just literally they are missing a man who will rule them with an iron rod. Uzobaphatha nje ngentonga yensimbi, because this is utterly unacceptable the way we are behaving. Yeah, Luzuko is saying I still don't understand why would the elders go against the notion of writing a book when such knowledge and wisdom has been lost. Most of the so-called traditional books are all based on Amadlozi, while our history, being European perspective, I haven't seen one book with such context. Uh-huh. But again, as I said, I just said now actually, I don't have eloquence. So that should tell you, even if I did write a book, it's not going to be a thing that people are going to be able to take and digest. Even in my speech, I can be very thick. Even when I'm trying to be simple, I'll still be very thick in how I convey information. And it takes a particular type of individual to decipher what I'm trying to say. Now, whereas there are people who are extremely, extremely gifted in the thing of conveying and eloquence. So there will come a person there will definitely come a person who will write. It's just not me. So I'm not even worried about it. A person who will write will come sooner than later, actually. A person who will write this whole thing up and make it in the most eloquent way will come. And so basically, corner song and they just supervising the whole process. So don't worry about the book. And besides, blacks don't read, guys. Black people don't like to read. Angogugu Ndlovu la, uma ufunda isitori sikaSojoyisa wakwaZulu kwaMandlakazi, kuthiwa umama wakhe wafika ekhulelwe wayoshada noJama. Hence uSojoyisa could not be a king, but since angakhona, and the story goes, umama kaSojoyisa was a queen, came and married Jama already pregnant with whose child? Asas. She was a princess from Mozambique or Sansonga tribe. This is raising a lot of questions from us. This confused history. Oh, sheke Magatsheni inzima ngempela because lezi itori, hey, futhi angifuni nokuyikhuluma le ndaba. So Amareva could be Mary wenzani entabeni uMareva. All other African kings at quick time over here, they go to the Mpumalanga and then want to recharge their power in Zalwelanga, who is called in Inkosi Yaselangeni as we speak to the law. Oh, so bahamba bayo-recharge lapha in that circle of stones. Hey, hayi madoda. Why, if I ask Nzalo Yelanga, the people that went there claim they saw a lady Mareva, and it sounds like same to me. Abantu babebusa eMpumalanga abo 1800 kungabakalanga nakwamhlongo kubuka Nandi, hence they like to glorify Queen Nandi. Son Shaka, we all know Shaka Nandi, we on the run. For Mbelong back, they want to kill Shaka because Nandi was the daughter of a king. Now Mhlongo, she was not married to me, and Zulu ngoba Abba. Baba Nandi didn't want to approve the relationship and Swatini. But there was no Swatini at the time, so where did they run to? Because Swatini did not exist at that time. Did they run to abantu baka Baka Masego? Do Masego know about this? Maybe examine this whole thing. Well, this is the histories. We need a proper anthropologist to do this, to and we'll have to finance it like Mkizwani and really get some research done, people's bones being dug up and all those things. Hey, ayikho yonke lento. Okay, you are okay trying to draw a correlation between Umeri Madlalini and the 12th lady with the 12, yeah, the woman in the Revelation 12 that has 12 stars upon her head. But the sun is a blanket or garment. Okay, that is interesting. I've never thought about it like that. I'll look at that and I'll get back to you. That's very interesting there. Izandla zidlula ekhaya, siyabonga. Mm. Hey, umude made bubuza. Kanti kwenziwani lapha kumkhosi wohlanga ngoba ngabe zilungisa khona zonke lezi nkinga zabesimame. Mm. Hey. Manje phela into kamama le yomkhosi wohlanga, umhlanga, unfortunately. Into kamakamfana namaZulu awayazi ukuthi kade ithatheleni into yamakamfana. But yeah, into nje eyifikele manje la. Eh, Tato, oh, you're coming in with a question there. See, all right. Why would it be 12 hours, 12 houses and not 13? You want to talk about the 13th tribe. Hmm. Mm. Okay. That's a long discussion for another time. But yeah, it's fine. Uh, mm, mhm, mm. Okay. That's a very interesting point there, Tato. That's a very long story, that one. We'll see when we are done with some of these questions, what we can attention. Yes, umlilwane washiyile energy yakhe. And that's funny because I just someone talking about the 13th tribe here. Mm. Hmm. Let me see. Grown today, my brother Sebonga. People, manikhula nje, khulani bakwethu. We can't be here looking at the world with in an eye with eyes of a 5-year-old. Sibatela kabi. We are very old in this planet. And some of the things are right in front of you, but I don't know why kumele ngize ngiyikhulume for you to pick it up. So can you emphasize on why professional pool symbols and how Black Baptists wear the symbols? And they are symbolic of churches' clothes. My conclusion: they may take a role to instruct and issue to discover that symbols of their clothes are leading to feeling safe in a pool or in a. Well, when it comes to ama uniforms, vele when people who predominantly came to this place are Europeans, and when they decided most of the colors, including uniform yamaphoyisa and masosha and everything, when they decide on the colors and things, they are very specific. They are very specific, and you must remember, Uti, most of the people who are in charge in that white community are people who are either in the Freemasonry or controlled by people who are in the Freemasonry. A very, very closed religious sect. So there's a lot of things that they seemingly know, and most of it has to do with witchcraft and stuff. So our uniform, obviously, they will choose colors that will go according to uh, what they want. But then black people, on the other hand, they just bathatha ama-colors, bathatha ama-symbol, bayafaka emzimbeni, not knowing what these things actually mean. not knowing what these things actually mean. That's the thing about me. Anyway, not to say stay on wishes, but I wish we could do a video emphasizing the difference between free diving and pool crosses and symbols, and how river black baptists wear similar symbols on the clothes they baptize with. No. You want me to go into the symbology of these ones who are opposari? That's interesting. We'll look at that. Tlajoa is apologizing to his ex. Mina senithukanela abasikhulu baseKim. Oh, shame. How bad? I see. Okay, I guess I'll have to redo. Ukhipha i-1201 umoya wezinkonzo nokhiya wezimpawu. The key of symbols. Yeah, okay. No, I'll have to redo that video. I may just, yeah, let me do that. Yeah. We'll have to redo that one because it's key. Ngoba guys, I know some of you decide to leave the church. Some way of you wanted to leave the church for a long time, and then you came to this channel and you saw some of the information, and you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm leaving this shit. So I guess I have to redo that video so that people can have access to that information on exactly what needs to happen once you leave the church, to undo the Kabbalah they've done on you, or you've done on yourself, because you're the one who uses your own words and mouth to pronounce certain things. So Jacobs comes in there and is saying that in the realm, witchcraft is in the realm of those with fish oils. Okay. Fish oils is at the realm of the ones with fish oils in their hearts, cholesterol, but the lion has never liked us. Even the food changes. We eat the same meal without change. Never needed salt from the ocean or labs, and never used spices from the apex predator. Well, has never seen change. Anything in this has always ate the same way and behave the same way. Interesting. That's a very interesting take. Very interesting. Obviously, having been subject to so many changes, I guess it makes sense that we would arrive at that space. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm really suspicious of how living coming from the complete change of my whole life. Current example is one, have never tasted oil in their food, never drank alcohol, psychedelics, they don't do sex like we do. Okay. Discipline. Okay. So essentially, Jacobs is saying that we need to become our natural self. Mm-hmm. So this one, Ubuntu University, I'm just taking this moment. Ngibonga ngithakazela uhambeni lwami lokuzifuna nokwazi imvelaphi yami khona indima oyidlala ngesakubanisa ulwazi olubuye sengathi kumnandi abusweni bonise wonke okufisayo kuphenduke kuleyo case ngabe seduze bakho ngiyabonga. So kuba isiqiniseko nabanye enze njalo Ubuntu University siyabonga kakhulu. Vote with confidence. Let's teach our people where we can, but let's not force them. Think about Paul. Just offer to them, and if they take it, they take it. If they don't take it, it's fine. Like I said before, we're not trying to run a cult here, so just take it or leave it. Mm-hmm. The land was given to their forefathers Abraham when it was still empty. But by the time they were a nation, it was occupied by some people. They were not going around. They were not around. Just pointing that out. Okay, Codex reveal. But it doesn't change the fact. God still said to them, go and occupy a land that already has people in it. What fuck did he think was going to happen? The Canaanites were just going to say, okay, come live here. Of course, he knew that there was. So he literally told people to go and steal. And the same one said, same person who supposedly said, thou shalt not steal. It's very weird. Uh, and okay, you just couldn't anticipate that at some point these people are going to be, that land is going to be occupied, and somehow, like, I don't understand. If he is a god, all able, all capable, then he if could have made it extremely uninhabitable for every other person. He could have prevented the Canaanites from going there. Anyway, so Matriba is going on. Yesterday, I had a dream where America and South Africa were signing a deal for water supply. So that South Africa agrees to supply America with clean fresh water in exchange for their polluted water. Ooh. Oof. You know, clean water versus troubled water. Oh my gosh, okay. That's an interesting dream. But I guess I guess it's an overtone of our relationship with the Americans. It's an overtone. We're not getting anything life giving from them. They're taking life from us and they're sending us death. Mhm. Hey, bandla. Anyway, so that's about that. I don't think, let's see if there's any other interesting there. Mm-hmm. Chabusikwa is asking, so Umama was first. This is according to Sanusko Komuto, right? Interesting to interpret the story of Adam and Eve and to combat it with where we've routine in Africa. Um, hmm. It's I don't know if we can say Umama was first. That we cannot say for sure. Um, we don't know. We don't know whether Umama was first. But from what I've seen, ikhona entity Uma in some aspect or of time and space. She was the first to arrive at that place. Nothing to do with being the first to be created. Because to me, the tree of life and Uma were compatible and equal. But the story, as it's been told, is told in a fashion that makes it entertaining. But yeah, it has a quality of truth to it. Um, because it's more my highlighting who team what really drove Uma to a certain position. You know, she had to have been bored by this man. This man must have been ugly. Maybe it didn't want her, but there is an attempt to create a rationale on into what actually happened. But yeah, we will go back to this a snake in the garden. Yeah, we'll go back. We are not done with that one, because I mean it comes all the way down, trickles all the way down to Abo Mary, Madlamini, Lapana, all the way down. Mm-hmm. I say people were triggered by this other shot. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, now it's now just about that one. Okay, so yeah, those are the some of your comments here. Hey, Nyakuluma, but it's fine. You're supposed to. Otherwise, I'm not looking for an echo chamber myself. Siyabonga. Now, here's the thing. I like to delve into this thing of cognition and our state of consciousness a lot. And I like to say, Uti, you need to be mindful, because I mean, I'm always trying to push you guys into a space where you can be autodidactic, um, meaning that you are able to self-teach the methods uh, of awakeness and meditation and all those things, enlightenment and transcendence. So you can be autodidactic like that. I'm not trying to be holding your hand, but there's always a pitfall of being an autodidact, because um, there's a lot of self delusion that can come in, because you're self taught, so there's going to be a self delusion that comes with that. Because no one is there to challenge and double check, you know, the things that you've learned. No one is making you write a test and exams, or challenge how you approach things, or how you perceive things or interpret them. So it's very easy to fall into self delusion. It's not too bad a thing, because I mean there are ways to avoid it. Like I always say that you have to take time sometimes to question your own sanity. If you don't question your own sanity, then you must know that you're already going crazy. You must question your own sanity. You must question the things that you are seeing, and always look to get a confirmation of matters. Uh, that's why sometimes some things I can tell you when I see them, and sometimes won't tell you when I see them. I'll tell you after certain confirmation has been made at all. So that's really what's going to happen. And then I'll come back and say, okay, guys, this is what I saw. Because sometimes it's very easy. It's very easy to be delusional by the self, but it's even more easier to suffer delusion when you are in a group. And this is, I mean, it explains the state of black people with the church and everything, and the alcoholism and all those things. So it brings me to another facet of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention. You call that into my habits. My grandmother used to say uh, something about habits formed something, but she had a saying in English about habits, and essentially what she was trying to explain is that when you form habits, they become very extremely difficult to undo or change. Now, this goes into the realm of umjolo, the dating, for example, because I was looking at some shenanigans out here when I was explaining last week, Uti, uh, this nonsense of imagining that you reached the age of 16, but somehow you think that you're still young. You're in your 30s and you're imagining there, sitting there at home, you're thinking, I'm still young for marriage. It's insanity. Now, other part of it is that if you are so caught up in that mentality that you think that you are too young for certain things, then understand this. As you are going along, being young, because what being young for black people is, I get to go out to the clubs, I get to drink alcohol and mess around, promiscuity, both genders, by the way, promiscuity, this and this and this and this and that. You are acquiring habits and you're reinforcing them with your friends every day until you are 30 years old, until you're 35. You are not going to change. Just stop that nonsense. You are not going to change. Don't sit there and imagine, one day you're cool as bad. No, it's not going to happen. You are not going to get better. You're not going to change and be a saint when you turn 40. It does not work like that. I know people who are still hoeing at the age of 60 because they've been hoes all their lives. Grown ass men in their 60s still hoeing at women. Men who used to drink at the age of 18 who are still sleeping at the shippings at the age of 60. You are not going to defeat your habits by constantly reinforcing them. It's not going to happen. And hoping for the future, that the future somehow will make you stop. It's not going to happen. Forget. So we need to try and do something, especially with our own children, with regards to habits. Let's try to control the habits our children get up to. And this is why I was saying with him, challenging goal, especially with black children, is that extramural activity. Ayikho, man. Our children come back from school long, they loiter in the street. And if you want to have ingane nama extramural activities, maybe we have go kuro schools that ukhokha 100,000, 700,000 per year, which is too much. It's too much money. We can't all afford that. Kanti umntwana mele ahamba esikoleni abuye ngo-5 ntambama ekhathele from doing all manner of things that are progressive and building of character. Adlale sport, adlale lokhu, abe part of the clubs in school. Ingane kumele ibe busy. But ingane zethu unfortunately azikho busy. So they will acquire all these habits. When umntwana afika ekhaya ekhathele engenayo ngisho isikhathi sokubuka ama-TV, let's just go to sleep. And if you can avoid having a TV, avoid having a TV if that's possible. It's not a cut and paste for everyone, but yeah, we cannot. It's another thing about black folks is that they want to take outliers, take the outliers, and then want to speak on behalf of the entire community just because of my outliers. 16,000 people could be doing something detrimental just because four of them or two of them are extremely exceptional. And then I said, no, man, but there's nothing wrong. If abantu about 60,000 bebulawa utshwala every year, black people will say, "Aye, but uMasibanibane la next door kazange." So because a few are managing to survive, then black people will say, "Aye, no man, it's okay," which is very strange because that's not how things work. It's definitely not how things work. We look at the majority, not the minority. We're supposed to look at the majority, which is the majority of our people are going through this and this and this. So we need to stop that. But so Tinpen, cognitively we are impaired. I keep saying it's not even a joke anymore. It's a thing. We are cognitively impaired. So habits, we need to be very careful about habits. If you are still thinking that someday you want to get married and have children and you are busy enjoying life, udla imali yakho nabangani bakho niyapopha ama-champagne every weekend, niyagroova, those habits are not going to go away. By the time you think you are ready, you're never going to be ready. And some of the things that you people are doing are extremely addictive, like Mufebe. Mufebe is very addictive. So uyaka ngubana kuzugane wes hlangana nomuntu la ingane yabantu uyithande ukubhubha, but you still can't stop. You're addicted. It's a habit now to go and favorize. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna change. So habits. Let's have this thing of habits under control. It's a very serious thing. It's a very serious thing, that one. And unfortunately, we tend to undermine it. I've been looking at some of the photos showing just how much the scenes of ama New Year's Eve parties and Christmas parties, the alcohol bottles empties, they were just lying on the floor and the streets. It's crazy to consider. And we say black people are supposedly supposed to be poor, but they have all kinds of money for alcoholic beverages. Shame. But anyway, let's not lambast each other too much, because I'm sure some cartel in Bonya every day. But yes, so let's try and always put checks and balances when we are going out, teaching ourselves the way, teaching ourselves about ourselves. More, you must take time to be honest with yourself and undress yourself. Look at that person in the mirror. Check, is that person really still fine? It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of unpacking and repackaging. It's a painful process. It's a struggle, suffering, but you will get there. So let's not fall into the pitfall of self-delusion. Can always happen, that one. And then I said, "Ama habits ethu. We need to watch our habits. Let's try and get some positive habits coming in. Let's try and get some positive habits coming in. It's not even a negotiation anymore. We need some positive habits because we are not doing all right. We're definitely not doing all right as a people. So that's that. You guys, I hope you have a good one. Sis, okay. Madana, siyabonga. Tato, manzini. Hey, sawas, but it's fine. Nibe right, bahlali. Ami Thaba, ukhanya. Mawuhlezi kunani.